So we're going to talk about China, ancient China, and we need to express how this culture was a very big part of ancient civilization, especially in ancient Asia. But going into a lot of the history, much of what was adorned by the emperors and empresses and the kings of the dynasties were very much in vogue to the common people. For instance, like red and bright lips, short and dark eyebrows, and well decorated cheeks were very typical elements in the makeup that was popularized by the Tang dynasty, which is AD 618. In ancient China, especially in the Tang dynasty, there were 7 steps in cosmetic makeup for the belles. Like, for instance, powder base, applying color to the face, eyebrow darkening, applying forehead with gold or floral twinkle gold, paintings of the dimples, decorating the cheeks, and applying lip color. I mean, these are huge parts of even modern civilization, but it was very much a practice there. Eyes were looked at as the cliche is, eyes are the windows of the soul, and then lips are the mirror of one's character and temperament. So they really utilize that to create characteristics. And that was a very important part of face decoration, lip makeup, and, the shapes in different various patterns in different periods. The invention of makeup, especially lips, were very big in China, where the Qing dynasty in 221 BC. The beauty of women's lips had already been paid special attention to. So this was proven when, in 1983, a life-size head statue of a goddess was excavated from it's called Nu Hinglang Hongshan culture site, which was a historic aspect over 5,000 years ago, and on that the lips were very red. So this shows that the act of reddening the lips has appeared around 5,000 years ago in ancient China. So I believe that the lip makeup was originally practiced to please the gods in religious occasions. So as time passed by, many people realized that it could be a way to liven up one's spirit and sometimes even reveal one's social status. So as a consequence, different materials for lip beauty products were constantly tested and used to make the lips red and bright, creating the Chinese art of lip makeup. And even till this day in China, red lips are very big in the selling aspects. The lip beauty products in ancient China were normally called lip balm or mouth balm, as recorded by the Chinese dictionary Shimin. And it shows to be pointed out that in its early stage, as with most other type of makeup, lip balm was typically, but not exclusively, worn by women. This paste-like sticky mixture was applied to revive chapped, dry lips that was caused by the dry and cold temperatures and the dry air and wind. And primary purpose of lip balm is to provide a layer on the lip surface to seal moisture in, protecting from the external exposures. So it wasn't just for beauty aspects, it was definitely for more of a protection. The production of lip balm, as they called it, in prehistoric times, the pigments for beauty lip products were generally obtained from plant juices, animal blood, can you imagine, and minerals. Historic times used a lot of the raw material as vermilion, and the chemical composition is muric sulfide. So it was kind of intense what they used. It was also produced in Hunan, Guizhou, and Sichuan province. I hope I'm saying that right. And bears the perfect lip color for the ideal lips. So I mean, I'm going on and on about red lips. I mean, this was a huge part of ancient China, and also the white face. That was a huge part too. Um, Vermilion was easily dissolved on warm lips, so its shiny red could not last very long. Later on, the ancient people added mineral wax and animal fat, making the vermilion more waterproof and had some kind of gumminess, which now we call lipstick or even lip gloss. Um, vermilion was also used as rouge and as well. So they liked the red cheeks and the red lips. I mean, that was a big part. And when you're doing any kind of makeup based on that era, I mean, I would say that's like a huge aspect. As far as the way they applied the makeup, that's another aspect to it. I mean, like the lip balm to all parts of the lip, women put the big red dot on the lower lip and painted the upper lip in a pointed shape, leaving the rest of the parts to be covered with powder. So imagine that. I mean, it's very interesting how they would even use that. And I would definitely recommend to start researching more and more. It's very difficult to find because it's so old. I mean, there's no photographs to really prove this, but if you do as much as you can, I'm sure through time, it was very difficult for us to find any kind of reference pictures, but I think for many of you who are really adamant, if you do find some, that this would be a really great thing to have, for sure. During that period, cherry lips and also shape of a cherry were very popular, and then they would also put two dots were usually painted outside the corner of the lips to strengthen the image of dimples. Really interesting. Another famous pattern took the shape of a little flower to make it, women first made it obvious depression in the middle and the upper lip. So they really made those lips look like little flowers. How cute. The upper lip would contour and take shape of two petals, and the lower lip was like another petal. In the Tang Dynasty, other patterns for lip makeup were also invented. And according to the Book of Records of the Unworldly and Strange, believe it or not, there were 17 patterns in the last 30 years of Tang. So they really took their shapes very seriously. And of course, the color red was in different shades, included the classic red, light red, and red with golden powder and pink on it. So it's kind of interesting how they really played with that. And believe it or not, we do take a lot of that still from what they do. What we do now, what they did, we do now. Cherry lips were also, again, very popular throughout many of the centuries. Women normally applied rouge to the whole or nearly whole upper lip, believe it or not. And while they painted a cherry-like dot in the middle of the lower lip, some women dotted in the middle of the two lips respectively. So in the Qing Dynasty, the whole society regarded Lin Daiyu as the beauty icon, who is a household character in the Chinese novel Dream of the Red Chamber, beautiful but fragile emotionally and physically. So if you get a chance, this might be something you might want to read, if you can find it in your in English form or your language form. This fancy for morbid beauty lasted for a while till the period of Republic of China. So she was quite a popular icon for this type of look. And both ancient and contemporary Chinese women mainly employed red for the lips. And yes, they do love the black tear makeup, which gained popularity in the Yuan years. of Tang Dynasty, which is in 806 AD to 820 AD. So black balm was applied to the lips, producing the seemingly crying, sad face, failing to satisfy the aesthetic sensibilities of many people. And this tear makeup went out of fashion shortly after. So it didn't really last too long, but it definitely was a big part. Just like fashion today, things happen and then it's out of style the next year. To express their sentimental attachment and pout to the men, some women left their lip marks with different shapes, colors, and fragrances on the men's necks. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And clothing, making the meeting sometime kind of unforgettable. So it was kind of a promiscuous kind of way of branding their man. Many of this information comes from a lot of the classic Chinese ancient poems. So, this is based on artifacts and written literature to use that as far as proof. So, this is obviously an very interesting part of ancient history and ancient civilization. So please definitely do your work and do as much research on this, because you will definitely use this if you are especially going into doing much more theater, film, and any kind of period piece working towards the Asian civilization.